Welcome in, everybody, to episode 5 of Destination Dynasty. I am back from my brief hiatus, joined by both co-hosts Martin Sokolsky and Jacob Milham. Guys, thanks for filling in for me a couple weeks ago. How are we doing tonight?
Doing great. Doing great. I'm a perennial Minnesota Twins hater, so if you're a Minnesota Twins fan, I feel pain for you, but I don't feel sorry for you. Martin, do you have some better vibes than I do?
No, the Twins just continue to the Twins. Their top prospect, being a top prospect in that system is not ideal. So please put Caitlin Culpepper in a bubble and leave him there.
Yeah, now that brings us to some breaking news today. We're recording on Tuesday, May 19th. This will obviously come out on Sunday, so news will be a little bit older by then. But Manuel Rodriguez underwent surgery. Today, the report came out, so it looks like he's most likely done for the season. He was just kind of regaining some steam in dynasty circles, prospect circles. My prospect list comes out later this week. He was going to rank around 41st. I have to slide him down now. He just can't seem to stay healthy at this point. I mean, what are we even doing with him?
I don't know. I think you got to sell on him. Like now is not the time to sell on him, obviously. But we're talking about this the same day that Royce Lewis gets sent back down, right? A number 1 overall pick, similar standing at one point amongst dynasty circles as Emmanuel Rodriguez, and now we see where Lewis is right now. Rodriguez, hey, he's looked stellar when he's on the field. This is like a tag that any Twins fan should know gets attached to any top 5 prospect in their system. It's injury prone. And yeah, he's been great when he's on the field, but availability is the best ability, and that still applies in Dynasty. At least that's what I think. Martin, what say you?
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating because he was starting to pick it up again. And I mean, we kind of know what Rodriguez is at this point, right? He's an OBP monster. He hits the living death out of the ball. I mean, I think he posted in 118 exit velocity earlier this year. Mm-hmm. The frustrating thing for me is he was finally healthy and was doing things, and the Twins continue to waste his bullets down in AAA. And this is the same theory I've always had with Chase DeLauder is, a guy's going to be healthy for X amount of time. Why continue to run him out at AAA? They knew that the window for Rodriguez was not going to be open for very long based on his track record. And here we are with the closed window again. I've been out on him for a while because of this. So that doesn't really change anything for me. But I think if you're a Rodriguez owner, you can try to sell if you'd like, but ultimately you're probably going to be stuck with him at this point.
Yeah, you don't really have anything to sell for. I feel like you're just selling low. I think he has enough potential. And when he's playing, he has enough value. I mean, 6 home runs, slugging .506 this season, 138 WRC plus, Martin, like you said, in on-base leagues. I think at this point, you're just holding through the injury. You hope that he comes back next year. Maybe he makes a team at a spring training next year. He gains some steam. And then if you want to sell, then you sell. But I still feel like there is enough value to be squeezed out at a later point that you just kind of hold him right now. I think that somebody mentioned Caitlin Culpepper earlier. I feel like it's unfair to associate teams and prospect stigmas. That's how you miss out. But also at the same time, it does feel like every Twins prospect that comes up either is a letdown, shows flashes and can't stay healthy, is inconsistent. Royce Lewis. I mean, I assume we see Caitlin Culpepper this year. We've been seeing a ton of prospect promotions, which we'll get to shortly. But I assume we see Culpepper this year, and I'm still really in on him. Culpepper's going to rank probably 10th in my prospect rankings that come out later this week. He's looked really good in AAA, even if the numbers don't jump off the page. A lot of the underlying data looks really, really good for Culpepper. So that's a prospect I'm still excited about. Martin, I believe, based on the Discord interactions, you're excited about Culpepper. Jacob, you're a Twins hater, not excited about Culpepper.
No, I am excited about Culpepper. But I was also excited about Rodriguez because we've seen him play, and I'm a Royals fan at heart, so that's what fuels my Twins disdain. I think I would say I think Culpepper is a very talented player. I think managers who have him are in a good spot. Certainly in a better spot than folks who have Rodriguez right now.
Yeah, I don't value Culpepper any differently based on the organizational issues. I mean, that's totally unfair to this kid. But if you want to talk about recent history, we're looking at Royce Lewis, we're looking at Byron Buxton, we're looking at Alex Kirilloff, and now we're sitting here with two arguably top 10 talents in Walker Jenkins and Emmanuel Rodriguez, and neither one of them can figure it out or stay healthy. Either one. I mean, I got live looks at both of those guys earlier this year. I'm not impressed with either one of them, to be honest with you. Neither one of them does anything for me right now. Jenkins is all about the power speed, but he's not hitting for power. Rodriguez can't stay healthy. Jenkins isn't staying healthy either. So it's one of those things. But as far as Culpepper goes, I mean, I'm not going to change my evaluation of him just because the organization has continued to flop after, time after time. But yeah, it's definitely a frustrating day to be a Twins fan if you're a Twins fan.
You wonder, Culpepper, Chase Burns just took a comebacker off his leg.
Ow.
He's jogging off the field, but it was from Harper. Sorry, multitasking here, watching
Yes.
baseball while we talk about baseball. But you wonder, Culpepper's a college bat. Walker Jenkins is a high school bat. Royce Lewis was a high school bat, I believe, if I recall correctly. You wonder if something in their player development, maybe. I don't know. That's all speculation at that point. Culpepper is with the organization for a shorter amount of time. So maybe it's just the mold, right? Walker Jenkins is he's a lanky, tall kid. Those typically come with more injury risks than a more compact profile in Culpepper. I don't know. Lots of speculation that we're talking about promotions here, which brings us into our main starting segment for this episode here. Early season promotions, we've seen a ton of them. I feel like every year we see more and more and more. Obviously, there have been a lot in the past couple of weeks since the last episode was recorded. This episode was recorded. But in particular, 3 big promotions in the past week and a half. Henry Boltle from the Athletics. We have AJ Ewing from the Mets. And we have Colt Emerson from the Mariners. We talked about Boltle a little bit on this podcast earlier this season. I am obviously a big fan. Martin is obviously a hater. He's sipping the haterade on Boltle, but Bolte's looked really good, and he's playing most days. They have a little bit of a crowded outfield out there in wherever we want to say the Athletics are from right now, soon to be Vegas. But my issue with Boltle is, and I like him, the ground balls are going to impact his power production. There is so much power production, but I wanted to see better launch angles, because then you're going to run into the same thing where we're even seeing with Fernando Tatis right now, right? Tatis just hit his first home run of the season yesterday. His launch angle continues to go down, so it doesn't matter how hard you hit the ball if you're hitting the ball into the ground, right? So I don't want to say I'm not in on Boltle for 2026 because I still really like the profile, but Martin, maybe I'm starting. I mean, I've always seen the concerns. I've talked about the concerns when I've praised Boltle, but Martin, I feel like I'm starting to agree with you as the hype takes off and people in the industry become more enamored with him. Maybe now isn't a terrible time to sell high and see what you could get.
Yeah, I mean, everything that he's done so far is exactly what he's did in the minors, except for he's not hitting for power in the majors right now, but it's a very small sample. I mean, he's playing a lot. He's still playing. He's played 5 of the 7 days since he's been promoted. I don't know if he's in the lineup tonight, but I would assume that he probably is. I mean, the exit velocities are fine, but again, when your launch angle is 5.8 degrees and you're hitting the ball on the ground as much as he is, it's hard to do any damage. And even in that ballpark where he could potentially have a huge boost because of the environment that they're hitting in, he's not taking advantage of it so far. Now, that said, we know about the speed. He's running a really high ground ball rate, but it's also a 429 BABIP, which is very high, obviously. I don't necessarily think we're going to get a ton of regression on that just because he's so fast. But at some point, he's going to have to hit the ball in the air to do any damage. Otherwise, it's just going to be a lot of empty batting average and speed at this point.
Yeah, so what I'm seeing so far from him right now is I didn't see how steep his swing path tilt was in AAA. I never noticed that, but it really stood out to me when I watched him play for the Athletics the other night. He's not getting a good angle on the ball when he makes contact.
He never has.
And that's one of those things that you can get by in AAA by not doing that, right? You can still produce, and just we haven't seen it so far. So yeah, there's definitely a big red flag here, at least for the rest of this season. Now, he's 22 years old. He's already playing in the outfield for a major league team. There's a lot to like with the speed and with the glove, but from a dynasty perspective, it's pretty volatile right now. So, I mean, if you can get him, if you can sell high on him just because he's a recently promoted name, sure, I'd go for it. But I don't know.
That's the point right there, right? I've been a believer in him for a long time. I've advocated for him. But Dynasty, like, you really have to figure out when you're buying, when you're selling. And the amount of people I've seen tweeting about Bolty since his promotion has been astronomically higher than what I kind of expected the hype to be. He's got strikeout issues, which I'm less concerned about. I've talked about it. It takes time to adjust. But the ground ball issue is a real issue. And yes, he has a ton of upside, and I understand chasing him for 2026 just based on pure upside alone. But in Dynasty, this almost feels like the perfect time to sell, because there is going to be a point where he does regress, where he's running a 55% ground ball rate and a 30% strikeout rate for a few weeks. And he's going to either lose playing time back to Lawrence Butler, or his dynasty value is going to fluctuate, right? Whereas now might be a really good time to capitalize on that hype, sell him as a top 30, 35, 40 prospect-ish, and he's already at the major league level, versus somebody like Colt Emerson. I think it's a real intriguing buy opportunity is going to open up for Colt Emerson, because one, I don't think he's guaranteed a major league roster spot. Two, I'm not totally sure he was ready for a promotion. He's still very young. I'm a little bit concerned about what his strikeout rate is going to look like at the major league level. There's a little bit more hit tool risk there. I don't think he's going to hit for a ton of game power right away. So I think Cole Emerson is a more polished prospect, has just as high of a ceiling, and is also more likely to be productive, but might struggle early on and doesn't seem to have that hype, where I think you could get a very nice buy low window coming up. Not quite yet, he just got promoted, but coming up, you could be able to buy low on Colt Emerson and sell high on Bolty. Martin, do you think Colt Emerson is guaranteed a spot in Seattle moving forward now that he's promoted, or do you think this is a short-term stint while Brendan Donovan's on the
IL? Honestly, I think it might be here to stay. And the only reason I say that is because they didn't have to promote him. They chose to promote him. They already extended him earlier this year, so he's under contract. But they already, went away from the arbitration issue, playing, service time issue. So that's not a thing anymore. I mean, Donovan's versatility offers them the opportunity to play him in the outfield or play him wherever they need to play him if they need to, which is also helpful. So the concern I have with Emerson, I mean, you brought up all the good points. One thing for me is the defense. What are we going to do at third? He's only played a dozen games at third base in the minor leagues. It's an adjustment period. I mean, third base is not an easy position to play to begin with, let alone in the major leagues. I thought for sure that when they brought him up that he was going to be the shortstop. Not that it was going to happen in this situation, but when he was finally up, I figured it was going to be the time where JP Crawford just hand over the reins and Emerson was going to be the guy there. And now he's playing third base. So I do think he sticks after Donovan comes back, because I think Donovan's versatility helps that. But obviously he's got a hit. I mean, that kind of goes without saying. Yeah. Yeah, but it's really early. It's just a very small sample size. So
very.
Yeah, I love Emerson in general. I think he's a really good player. I agree that I don't know that he was necessarily ready, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and now he's here.
Yeah, and right. Sorry, Matt.
No.
It's like right now, this is kind of the time to bring him up. You look at the roster construction, right? JP Crawford, he's only under contract for the rest of this season. So if the Mariners really believe in him being the shortstop of the future, well, you want him to get those major league at bats when there is more pressure placed upon him. And Martin, to your credit, yeah, the transitioning from one position to another on the fly at the major league level is tough for even the best of athletes. But there are success stories, especially going from shortstop to third base, at least sticking on that side of the field. A recent guy that I think of course, as a Royals fan, is Michael Garcia. He was a shortstop his entire professional career, and now he's one of the best defensive third basemen in the game. Now, does Colt Emerson have the same chops over there at the hot corner as he does? I don't know, but he's going to get a chance to prove himself, I will say.
Yeah, I think I'm going back to that buy window that could open up. I don't think I'm so much worried about whether Cole Emerson is playing third base or shortstop long term, right? I think he'll be able to adjust to either one. But Jacob, like you said, you're learning a new position on the fly at the major league level. How does that impact his offensive ability? There's a lot of pressure of becoming a major league ball player. Now you're learning a brand new position. I feel like we see players do this all the time, and learning a new position negatively impacts their offensive production because they're focusing so much on the field. They're thinking about the field. Baseball is such a mental sport. And so that's why I think he could really struggle in his first stint. It would not surprise me at all. And I really like Cole Emerson. He has ranked as a top 10 prospect for me for a long time. But I think he could struggle. The position change, I don't think could help anything with that. So I think if you guys had to rank AJ Ewing, who we haven't even really talked about, Henry Boltle, or Cole Emerson for Dynasty, let's say not long-term Dynasty, let's say 2026 and 2027. So just these next 2 years, how would you rank the three of those players?
I would go Emerson, Ewing, Bolty. And that's not a slight on Bolty. I just think that the skills are more consistent for the other two guys. And I know that the hit tool is in question for Emerson for sure. I just think that the upside he offers offensively is greater than what Ewing has. And Bolte's got a lot of flaws in his game. I mean, everybody's got flaws in their game, right? But he's got the biggest flaws. He's got the ground ball problem, and he's got potential strikeout problem as well. So I think the upside for Bolte could be the highest of the three.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's a stretch to say at all. I think he can outproduce both of them on the in the air and
He's
on the
got
bases.
30 potential if you
Yeah.
like. He's a rare player that does that, but I think you're right.
Yeah, but I think part of it too with Emerson is I think that the team context helps out a lot as well. I think he's got a veteran crew around him that will definitely help him out. I mean, the Mets are kind of in flux. The A's just don't seem to have any leadership in that clubhouse. I think Emerson's at least got a chance to develop into a big leaguer faster, with more regularity, more consistency than the other two. But again, I mean, I think we're kind of splitting hairs though, because I really don't think it's a huge gap between the 1 and 3 in that position for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a pretty tight gap for me as well. For the window that you provided, Matt, I would actually go Ewing, Emerson, Bolty.
That's what I was gonna say.
I really like what Ewing has shown so far at the major league level. Hasn't been perfect, no, absolutely not. But we've seen Bolty and Emerson. They're both, you can see it. They're still catching up to the major league level, and Ewing, he is what he is. We're not talking about a 30-30 guy here, but we're talking about a guy who can stretch out a lineup, get on base, and really has a lot of stolen base potential that I don't think people buy into enough. So I really like him in a Mets uniform. But Matt, do you have anything to add there?
No, I don't think it's a slight on Emerson's dynasty value to put Ewing ahead of him just for this short window. Right? I think Ewing's the most polished. I think everybody can kind of recognize that. Ewing also, I think, probably has the lowest ceiling of the three.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to balance whether you're chasing upside, ceiling, team context. What are you looking for from that? So yeah, I think all three are going to have the potential to be very good players. All three, if you have them in Dynasty, you're excited to get a glimpse, excited to see what you can do. But also now is the time not to sit back and just take it all in, but make moves. Figure out if you want to buy, figure out if you want to sell. Make the moves now, early in the career, because that's when players' dynasty values fluctuate the most, when that prospect fatigue starts to set in a little bit, or prospect hype goes into full steam if they excel early on. So we're going to move into a little bit of a different area that we haven't covered so far on Destination Dynasty episode 5. We're going to do a little bit of a positional preview. So much value changes. I know a couple years ago we did almost reports on each position the Dynasty team put out over here at Pitcher List, and those articles were good, but I don't think they got the attention they quite deserve. So we've kind of transitioned away from that, but that doesn't mean Dynasty value is not changing positionally. If you're in Win Now, you're trying to target players. You're trying to sell veterans before they reach a cliff. So I think a lot of value can be found by digging into these positional values. We'll cover some major leaguers, risers, fallers, prospects, all of that. So I wanted to start, Martin, later this week, your Dynasty Top 400 comes out. And so I asked you, all right, little preview for the listeners here. Who are your top 10 first basemen going to be? No real surprises at the top. We have Vladdy, and then Nick Kurtz, Ben Rice, Pete Alonso, Matt Olson, Bryce Harper, Rafael Devers, or Sal Stewart. You said you're still figuring that one out. Josh Naylor, Freddie Freeman, and Bryce Eldridge. Martin, give us some insight into some of those rankings there.
Yeah, so I think we're at a crucial point with first baseman in Dynasty, because we've got some guys that are going to start hitting that kind of the fall off here. The guys like the Harpers and the Freemans are going to start to tail off. I mean,
Harper's elite again. I know the GM wanted to say he wasn't. But.
I do like Bryce Harper, but eventually that cliff is going to come. I think we're definitely seeing an emergence, obviously with Ben Rice and Nick Kurtz. I think they're both here to stay, and I think ultimately they're probably going to come close to surpassing Vlad if they haven't already. Some people probably have Kurtz ahead of Vlad, and I can totally get behind that. But yeah, I think there's definitely a lot to like at the position right now. There's a lot of power there. Obviously, Naylor offers that speed, which is helpful. Harper runs a little bit as well. So it's just there's a lot of power. Not a lot of overall hit tool besides, Vladdy can really rake when he gets on it. And I thought Devers was going to be able to too, but I don't know what's going on with him right now. So I definitely think that the future's bright at the top when you're looking at Kurtz, Rice, Sal Stewart, and Bryce Eldridge potentially too. I do have a little concerns about Eldridge, though. I'm still on the fence about how I truly feel about him long term. But then we've got guys that we'll talk about later on as well. So overall, the position is pretty solid in general, but definitely going to be hitting a crucial point in the next couple of years where guys are going to start to fall off.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you brought up Eldridge, or that was the one that kind of stuck out to me, and I kind of wanted to hit on. I feel like I was lower on him as a prospect than many others, right? Platoon concerns, strikeout concerns. That really hasn't changed. And personally, I'm not ready. Michael Busch struggled early this year. He was a name. I was trying to figure out, okay, I saw Bryce Eldridge at 10. I'm like, well, somebody else, and you're right. The first base position is very weird. You have all these veterans at the top, and then all these young guys who some are unproven, some have flaws, whatever, at the bottom. I was like, Michael Busch, he hit 35 home runs last year. He struggled to start the season, but he's been red hot as of late. Versus Bryce Eldridge, I know the sample size is so small, right? He's played in 19 games. He hit 107 last year. He's hitting 143 this year. The chase rate's terrible. The whiff rate's terrible. He's never hit lefties. I'm personally struggling to view him as a significant dynasty asset. Jacob, you responded to my comment on we have a little Google sheet. I wrote gross next to Martin's ranking of Eldridge at 10. You responded to my comment. What has you still buying into Bryce Eldridge there?
And you know what? This is one of those things. I'll admit it. The red flags are there. I want to ignore them though. I want to believe in Bryce Eldridge. I really, really do. But all the criticisms that you bring up of him, Matt, are fair and very, very valid. He's his presence at the plate. I really want it to work out for him. And at the end of the day, he's still 21 and he made his major league debut last season. He's doing great things down in AAA to his credit. I just want to see that transition to the major league level. And this is, how many different prospects can you have these same concerns about? Spencer Jones is a guy that I think of that comes to mind. Massive process worries, but holy smokes, you want it to work out. You really, really do. So I'm hoping that Bryce Eldridge works out. But I mean, Martin, this is a little rich for my blood having him in the top 10. Where's Mooney? Where's Murikami, the man of the hour?
Yeah, that's a perfect transition right there, because we're going to talk about some major league risers, and Murakami leads that list. I mean, he's got 17 home runs already. But, see, that's the biggest difference for me, right? Murakami's a great point. He has the strikeout and whiff concerns that Eldridge does, but Murakami also has 17 home runs at the major league level, and Eldridge can't get on the field consistently. I think that's
an organizational problem, though.
Well, that's fair.
The Giants should never have called up Eldridge. Let's be honest; they didn't have the room for him.
Yeah.
So continue.
No, you're totally right. I don't have to continue. I totally agree with that. Just Munetaka Murakami, how much are you buying in to Murakami versus he doesn't crack your top 10? I don't know how close he is. We'll leave some suspense for the listeners, even though your list will be out by the time they actually listen to this podcast. But how close has he come to making your top 10, and why did you leave him out versus somebody like Eldridge making? Is it just an age thing?
Yeah, Murakami is not too far off the beaten path. I mean, it's not like there's a huge gap. And even if we want to break it down, if you're looking at dynasty rankings, even guys that are at position 70 and position 100, it's really not that big of a gap, right?
Sure.
So I don't know where I have Murakami at right now. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean, the profile isn't all that dissimilar, right? I mean, we're still talking about a guy who is going to swing and miss a ton. I mean, his whiff rates are outrageous, but the raw power is so real. And that's the same thing with Eldridge. The raw power is so real. I really don't think that there's a big difference in their profile at all, other than the fact that Murakami is playing every day and has a lot more experience at a pro level, even if it was overseas. But ultimately, it's kind of the same three true outcomes, because Eldridge is a guy that's going to walk a lot too. So he's going to walk a lot. He's going to strike out a lot, and he's going to hit a lot of home runs. I mean, at this point, is it an age thing? I mean, kind of. I mean, not really. I mean, Eldridge is 21. Murakami's what, 25? Is that right?
26, I think.
Yeah, 26.
Okay. So I mean, yeah, I mean, there's not a huge gap between the two of them. I think I still have these preconceived notions about Murakami and his profile, and I don't think that I've been proven wrong so far. I mean, we're still talking about a guy who really doesn't handle velocity very well. He's gotten a little bit better. He's got 4 of his 11 home runs on a fastballer against pitches that are over 95 miles an hour, which is nice. But he's still struggling against spin. He's got a 52% whiff rate on that. He's got a 50% whiff rate against off-speed pitches. And I know that in your notes you're talking about how he doesn't chase. He doesn't chase because they don't have to throw it out of the zone for him to swing. I mean, I'm dead serious. If you're going to make contact only 7 out of 10 pitches in the zone, you're going to take your chances. And if you look at his whiff chart, all 9 of the red squares inside the zone are all red. So just putting that out there. The outcomes are great right now, don't get me wrong, and I'm not sure that it's going to change, but there's still a huge gap in this profile.
Can't make up your mind, Jacob? How in are you?
I'm in right now.
Right.
Like what we're seeing right now from Murakami is we're seeing Kyle Schwarber, just a younger version. It's the exact same profile right now. If you go and you look at their issues and their approaches, it's so similar. It's a little uncanny. And this is what we're still like in the dozens of games, not in the hundreds or in the even in the 50s. It's a volatile profile. It absolutely is, to Martin's credit. It's scary, but holy smokes, like how often do we see this sort of ceiling transition to the majors this soon from an overseas prospect? We don't see it very often. And I'm buying right now. The price is steep right now, but just think about where it could be, come the Midsummer Classic, right? It could be so much higher.
It could be. I mean, you brought up Kyle Schwarber. He dealt with really, really low batting averages for a lot of years, and then he kind of stabilized that, right? He worked harder against left-handed pitching. The averages aren't great, but they aren't 190, right? Murakami's hitting 230 right now. I don't think that probably, or he's hitting 242. I don't think that continues. I think he's probably more of a 220 hitter, but also he's on pace for 51 home runs. So you make that trade in Dynasty. Another young player, though, that's rising is Sal Stewart. Martin, you have him ranked inside your top 10. I really like Sal Stewart. What you said, you think you're going to push him above Rafael Devers by the time the list comes out. You're all in on Sal Stewart? I think you were all in before the season, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I've been in on Stewart for quite a while. I've always liked the profile. I think that he makes a lot of contact. He hits the ball really hard. He's always been polished as far as plate discipline and things like that. So, and with Devers, just touching on him real quick, I just think that whatever is wrong with him, it's getting concerning at this point. I know he's getting a little bit hotter of late, but this is a guy that I once thought was one of the best hitters in baseball, best pure hitters in baseball, just watching him on a day-to-day basis. He is not what he was. So I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, so yeah, so back to Stewart. Two things that stand out for me with him. We've got a 17% barrel rate and a 511 X slug. I mean, that's a lead on both fronts. I mean, that's 90th percentile or better. And he's at 23 barrels already this season. It's 8th in baseball. Here's the guys ahead of him: Wood, Schwarber, Baldwin, Judge, Buxton, Jordan, Trout. It's a nice list, right? So I definitely think, I mean, I think he chases a little bit too much still. I think there's going to be some flaws with some spin. I think they've kind of gotten on him a little bit for that, but I think he's going to adjust just fine. And like Murakami, which we just talked about, the weather hasn't quite heated up yet, and the ball's going to start flying in Cincinnati and in Chicago. It's going to be a fun summer. There's going to be a lot of damage coming up and with some of these guys, and I think Stewart's going to be one of those guys.
If you want to look like way in the future, one of the things I don't like about Stewart is he has a very long swing. Sure, I get it, but right now it certainly works. And when you're playing for the Reds, you got 81 games at home. That is certainly going to help your dynasty profile in my mind. Martin, yeah, first of all, I did not realize how high he was on the barrels. 17.4% this year. Absolutely outstanding from the young player right there. He's hitting the ball all over the place. Now, if you actually have Stewart on your roster, you know he's been sliding a little bit heading into May. So what's changing? Francona says that pitchers are attacking him more inside and getting a little bit more success there. I don't see that, at least in publicly available data. It's kind of been the same from March and April to now in May. The bat speed is at least climbing up. It's ticking up in the right direction. I really like him. I think that's a good spot for him to be at, Martin. I think that's the right spot for Stewart to be at, and to be like, that kind of tier down from Kurtz, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I really like Sal Stewart. Have you guys checked out his expected home runs by ballpark? It
Oh
is
boy.
fascinating to look at, right? If he was playing in Yankee Stadium, Hitter Ballpark, he would have 8, Pittsburgh 8, St. Louis 9, Cincinnati. Oh gosh, I was looking at a total. Okay, similar thing. Yankees 4, Pittsburgh 4, St. Louis 5, Cincinnati 14, Philadelphia 14, Milwaukee 14. Like all over the map. His actual home runs are 11. His expected home runs 7.7. All over the map, but I like Sal Stewart a lot. Just thought that was very interesting there. Martin, one other ranking that stood out that transitions into our next section, Major League Fallers. I listed Pete Alonso as a Major League Faller. I think he's moving down a tier. You still have him ranked 4th, so you're practicing some patience there with Pete Alonso?
Yeah, I'm really not worried about Alonso at all, to be honest with you. I don't see anything anything that you've seen with batting average has always been a bonus, right? It's not the expectation for me to see a 270 average that he had last year. Yeah, the bat speed's down a little bit, but it's still 75th percentile, which I can take. The batted ball data all looks good. I think that's just an adjustment period going to Baltimore. I don't think it's an easy place to hit. I don't think their lineup is really clicking yet either, which is, it will help. And the weather, again, hasn't been great either. I think he's going to be fine. I don't, of all the guys on this list, beyond the top 3, he's the guy I would be worried about. Him and Matt Olson would be the guy I'd be worried about the least. I just don't feel like it's always going to be the same with Alonso unless he's hurt. You're looking at a guy that's going to flirt with 50 home runs. He's going to hit 230 at least. He's going to drive in 100. He's probably going to score close to 100. I mean, I'm not worried about him until he gives me a reason to be worried about him. Then, yeah.
I think you brought up though why I am worried. You're not going to get batting average, and so you're really relying on that power to be elite. And yes, his barrel rate still is strong at 12.1%, but it's not elite. The bat speed is still strong at 74.1 miles an hour, but it's not elite like it was. Like that's down a little bit over a mile an hour. He's not pulling the ball in the air. That could be Camden Yards specific. A little bit of that. They've moved the wall a lot in Camden Yards. But I'm just worried we're not going to get elite Pete Alonso. Like I would almost, if I was in Dynasty, I personally would rather have Sal Stewart than Pete Alonso because Stewart seems like he's on the rise, and Alonso, I just worry he's 31. When does that cliff hit? I don't know. Like this could be way too early. First basemen do not typically hit a cliff at 31 years old. See Freeman, Freddie, but you could hit that cliff. Jacob, what are you seeing from the numbers on Pete Alonso? And should dynasty managers be worried, or are you with Martin where you think they can practice some patience here?
So here's the thing. There's still a lot of unquestionably elite numbers. Like this is, that's kind of assuaging a lot of my concerns about that bat speed drop, because for him it's noticeable, but it's still a good enough mark. And here's the thing about Pete Alonso. Last year, he did not do good away from home. Like he was an average batter away from home, but he excelled at home. He had a 946 OPS at home in 2025, and that went down into the 700s away. I wonder if it's something with the batter's eye. Honestly, I wonder if he's just not catching, if he's still getting adjusted there to Camden Yards. He's just not catching the spin. But here's the thing. His run value against so many different pitches is down across the board. Fastballs, it's down in the negatives. Cutters, down in the negatives. Sinkers is down from like 8.3 to 0.9. That's a massive drop for him. So I think that's where some of the concern with the bat speed comes in. There is a narrative where you could say the bat speed is transitioning to him not catching up to fastballs anymore. But I don't think he's clicking all the way, because just that organization as a whole right now is not clicking to the level that we know that talent can be. So I'm preaching some patience there. But if you want to try to convince someone out there to trade you Pete Alonso, there's definitely some buttons you can push. You say, hey,
you can press my buttons to get if I own Pete Alonso. Maybe that's me. Maybe that's me being a former Pete Alonso hater because he's on the Mets. So maybe there's some bias. Maybe there's a little bit of bias there. That'll be interesting to watch. Another one, I don't think I'm gonna make any waves here saying the ride is over for Coby Mayo at this point. Another Orioles player. I know he's mostly playing third base for the Orioles, but Jackson Holliday's back now. Mayo just has been completely unable to get things going at the dish. Martin, you think there's any hope for dynasty managers, or is it just time to throw in the towel?
I don't know. I'm still believing in the power. I still think I still
can't give it up.
I can't. Well, I've never been in love with the hit tool. And if you remember back in the day, my first PL article was a breakdown of Coby Mayo. And my first area of concern that I put was contact rates, and that's fine. But really, ultimately, the problem right now is that he's not playing, and it's hard to get in a rhythm when you're not playing. And that's kind of what my argument was with Eldridge as well. But over the last 7 days, he's played 7 straight games. He's hitting 304 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. Imagine that. So for me, the biggest thing is that the organization did a complete disservice to Mayo when they went out and signed Pete Alonso. If they had no intention of playing in Mayo at third base because of Jordan Westberg and at first base because of Alonso, and you know that Basayo is going to DH when Adley's not, then you should have traded Coby Mayo, and they didn't trade Coby Mayo. So I'm not ready to completely give up on him because I still believe that there's a good major league hitter there, a productive major league hitter there. But until the situation changes, yeah, you probably okay to throw in the towel at this point.
So here's the thing. I think that he is a true change of scenery candidate, right? You send him to some first base needy team, and I think he could thrive, Martin. You're pointing out, when he gets consistent playing time, when he can come to the ballpark every single day and believe that he is going to be in the lineup in one way or another, well, he gets into good rhythm. gets into a good routine. And I just don't believe he's ever going to find that in a Baltimore Orioles uniform unless something like the wheels completely fall off of the roster ahead of him. Like it would take something very, very drastic. So what's the better chance of something happening? 3 guys getting injured ahead of him, or he gets traded to another organization, or I mean, better yet, he gets DFA'd and goes to a different organization.
I feel like the Orioles feel almost stuck with him at this point. Like they missed that opportunity to trade it. That organization seems to be just a complete mess right now. I mean,
Yeah.
you go back 3 years ago, things looked so much different for the future outlook of that organization. It is just every button they have pressed has seemed to fail.
Yeah.
It's been tough. And at this point, I feel like they almost feel stuck holding him, stuck holding like a Colton Cowser, like even if they aren't believing in these players so much anymore, like you're trading
Buyer's
so
regret.
low.
Buyer's regret on
Yeah.
Shane Boz.
Yeah.
That was a pretty
tough.
steep price that they paid for him. Here's
so
the thing,
bad.
though. MLB organizations cannot believe in the whole sunk cost fallacy, right? If you buy into that, you're losing from the get. So I'm sorry, like there are holes that this team could address by moving on from a Mayo or a Cowser. Listen, suck it up, Buttercup. All right,
I agree.
move on. Do the best thing for the team and the fan base, and suck it up. Admit you were wrong and keep it moving.
I couldn't agree more, but I am skeptical they will. I think
I am too.
DFA
Trust me.
Yeah. All right. Now we'll get into that. Was a little depressing to talk about Coby Mayo when we were a few years ago. But in more exciting news, we'll go to prospects. Ralphie Velazquez for the Cleveland Guardians. I wasn't super in on him early. I think I missed that a little bit in my rankings. He's going to move up quite a bit. He is dominating down the minor league level, 7 homers, 317 batting average. He was just promoted to AAA. Should dynasty managers be really on Jacob? What do you think Ralphie Velazquez is the timeline looks like, and what can dynasty managers realistically expect from him moving forward?
So here's the thing: the trend that he's on right now. We're recording this on May 19th. A 2026 debut should absolutely be in there is light at the end of this tunnel right now. And I also point to the fact that he's getting some play in the outfield. I think he's gotten some starts out in left field. And because it's easy to point to who the Guardians currently have on the roster in Hoskins and Manzardo and say, oh, well, we'll see him in 2027 maybe. No, like I think they want to get this bat, if he stays hot, to the major league level, especially because, I mean, the Guardians as an entire lineup are not the best. All right. They definitely got some room for improvement there. He turns 21 later on this month. He's a very exciting guy with the EV trend that he's on, especially 7 home runs, 30 RBI in 36 games. There's a lot to like here. But we'll see what happens when he's in the Clippers uniform. We really need to see that first. I don't want to crown him just yet, Martin.
Yeah, Velasquez is a guy that's always been pretty underrated for me. I've always liked the hit tool and the power together. I think the plate discipline's really strong. He's never done anything to disprove any of that for me. He only had one period of struggles, which is a very short sample in high A at the end of 2024. Beyond that, he's always been quite solid. So the problem is at the major league level, is you've got Kyle Manzardo there and Rhys Hoskins there. I was once a Manzardo fan. I don't see a path where he's going to block Ralphie Velazquez once Velazquez is ready. He's not ready yet. So let's not put the cart in front of the horse, if you will. But I do think that in time, Velazquez is definitely the first baseman of the future in that organization. I don't think that Rhys Hoskins is gonna block him up, and I don't think that Kyle Manzardo is going to either. One thing I do have about Velazquez that I'm concerned about is I am concerned about the platoon splits, because the Guardians don't like to play their left-handed hitters against left-handed pitchers unless they're Stephen Kwan, and Stephen Kwan's not actually good anymore. That's beside the point. So, but yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing I don't know what the Guardians are doing. So
yeah,
I'm going to go on a little rant here because I really love Cooper Engel, who's a catcher in their system. A really solid profile just all around. And they finally cut ties with Bo Naylor and put him in AAA where it belongs. And then they trade for Patrick Bailey. What are you doing? Like
Leading the
doing?
AL Central is what they're doing.
Oh my goodness, that's the
It's
low
working.
bar to clear.
I know it's
all
the
right?
defensive. It's the defensive piece of things, but my goodness, let the kids play. Look what Travis Bazzana's doing right now.
Yeah,
Whew.
I agree.
So, and that offense has been terrible for so long. They
Yeah.
could use a big bat.
They could. They could. Jacob, who are some other first base prospects that have caught your eye early in the season that could become significant dynasty assets in years to come?
I mean, we got to talk about it, Illyrio Farabus, right? Getting
Well,
that
we're
promotion.
absolutely. I was gonna go last, but we can absolutely go Illyrio Farabus. Phillies catching prospect / first base prospect. The few games I've watched, they're already playing him at first base a lot. I don't think he's a catching prospect long term there, but the bat is really, really good. He's got a smooth, powerful swing. There's not a whole lot to it. 6'2", 174 pounds, good feel for his pull side. He's raw still. He chases a lot. The pitch recognition is not always great, but there's so much power there. The batting average looks good this year. Now that we care a lot about minor league batting average, right? But the batting average does look good. The contact skills look good, even if there is some chase there. Like I said, he's raw. He's only 20 years old. You said I missed the promotion. He just got promoted to high A.
Yeah,
Nice. Love that. Yeah,
that he did.
I wanted to see how long that'd take, right? Because if he turns 21 later this year, I want to start seeing him against some tougher competition than in low A. But he's a name who I think could really fly up ranking boards. And he's got the raw tools to do it. 220 ISO on the season. So I am in on Farabus. How much you guys know about him? Not sure how much research digging you guys have done on him, but that's my pick to click. Jacob, who are some of your picks to click?
Sorry, I wanted to make sure that we got him in because he just got promoted, man, and like he was tearing up the Florida State League. So really got to talk about him. I'm the weird guy. If y'all read my stuff or if you've listened to this podcast at all, you know I get on little weird rabbit holes. So I was focusing on guys who aren't currently first baseman when I was looking at this. Yandy Morales with the Nationals is the guy who stuck out to me. Martin, you're smirking. What you got? Did I say that wrong?
No, I was just laughing at you because you're goofy.
I'm just a goofy guy. I'm just here for the vibes. But Morales, he's a little like I don't want to say he's old, right? He's not gonna turn 25 until after the season's done. He's getting a little bit of playing time between third base and first base there for the Nationals. But I mean, tearing the cover off the ball at the AAA level, hard hit rate of 55.3%. That is in the 95th percentile for that level, and maxing out there at 113 miles per hour off the bat. That'll absolutely play. Good things happen there. He's not a guy who I'm going to say, oh yeah, he's definitely going to turn into a top 20 first baseman. But if you're in a deeper league and you're looking for some sort of first base prospect, I think that's a good way to go. Especially with how the Nationals are looking right now, they should be embracing more of that "let the kids play" mantra that Matt brought up earlier on. Nathan Flewelling is another guy I was looking at, and then Jason Schiavone with the Houston Astros. He is not on any top 30 prospect board out there that I could find. A very, very deep dive there, but he is doing a lot of good things there at Double-A. I just get a gut feeling he's not going to stick behind the plate. But Martin and Matt were correcting me on other guys who I didn't think was going to stick behind the plate in the Discord. So take what I say with a grain of salt. Martin, who are you looking at?
So the biggest name right now for me, I call him Titan, but his name is actually Tatum Gray from the Rays. This guy is just a monster. I call him Titan because he's humongous. Big physical kid with just a big body. He's not going to grow into his frame at all. He's already there. But he's got 5 homers already at Class A and just plus raw power, athleticism, former catcher that's moving out behind the plate. So I think he's a guy that's obviously he's a big riser right now and a guy that I've got my eye on. And then the other guy is Blaze Jordan. And Jordan I was out on for a long time because he was a Red Sox farmhand, and I just didn't think it was ever going to be anything more than a bunch of empty batting average. And the guy has completely reworked his entire profile. He lost a bunch of weight. If you remember him from the YouTube days, he was a big metal bat in Globe Life Stadium down in Texas, just hitting balls 550 feet with a metal bat in high school. So but he's completely changed the profile. His contact rate's up to 83%. He's over 90% in zone. He's got a sub 10% swinging strike rate for the first time in his career. And he's still hitting the ball pretty hard, 91.4 mile an hour exit velocity with a 107.9 90th. I saw him hit a ball in Toledo last week that it never even was a doubt. It was just pure, just a crack of the bat, everything you want to hear in a baseball game. And I just watched it just sail. I mean, this guy, he's so impressive, and he just looks way different than he would when he did as a prospect. So he's in the he's the Red Sox prospect, and he's in the Cardinal system right now. And I hope he gets a run later this year, because I mean, he's just a really good bat all of a sudden, and I'm kind of encouraged by it.
Hey, Martin, I had something that I want to push by you. So right now, he's got 8 home runs and 2 stolen bases on the year, right? Last year, he set career highs with 19 home runs and 5 stolen bases. Do you think that he exceeds either one of those this season?
He's definitely going to exceed the home runs if he stays in AAA. There's no doubt about that. He's just raking, and the hit tool is so much better than it used to be. And with the power too. Yeah, he's definitely going to do that if he stays in AAA. But I don't think he's going to be there long.
All right, Martin, or Matt? Sorry, anyone else you're looking at?
No, those are the main names. Those are the main first base names for me right now that I'm tracking. So we'll see how it goes. A lot of young talent, like Martin said, up at the major league level at first base. So hopefully Bryce Eldridge starts getting some playing time and proves me wrong, and Bryce Harper stays elite and wins another MVP, and then everybody can be happy.
I have to point out that Ben Rice has now 2 home runs tonight off Dylan Cease.
So. Oh.
Goodness gracious. I won't be happy until Ryan Clifford is in the lineup, okay? That is what will make me happy, guys.
Ryan Clifford.
Come on, give me Ryan Clifford.
Me and Martin debated Ryan Clifford 2 years ago. That guy is not a major league regular.
Good
he's
anymore.
not.
No, he's not.
Chaos.
Ryan Clifford. No, gosh.
Who would have ever guessed that Ryan Clifford would be less valuable than Luis Lara?
Not me.
Yeah, I would take Luis Lara, and I'm not a Lara guy.
Right.
Oh man, now Ryan Clifford can't hit lefties and strikes out way too much. So
he
Ryan
does.
Clifford's a quad A player if I've ever seen one. So
for sure.
I wish him nothing but the best. Not that he's ever listening to this podcast.
We wish him well.
Yes.
All right. Well, that just about does it for Destination Dynasty episode 5. Jacob, Martin, any last thoughts?
Nope.
All right.
Got nothing.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. And until next time, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye-bye.